Hello and welcome to the third round of the NASCAR Canada Series. We're at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, live on RevTV. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me is Gary Clute, and Todd Lewis will be joining us momentarily from the track. But Gary, this is always an exciting time on the NASCAR Canada Series schedule. Teams pack up and head west.
Yeah, it is the Western swing. You've got to execute, you've got to stay focused and collect those points.
Yeah, points are important. You can see the cars lined up on the front straightaway. So as the drivers prepare for today's event, let's check in with Todd Lewis. Todd?
Live television here tonight, so we work with the TV crews. We got about 9 minutes before the command.
Always a special time when the NASCAR Canada Series comes out to the west. First stop, of course, here at Edmonton International Raceway, and fans have been pouring in. This is a huge crowd for this autograph session. They've been enjoying a full day of activity. The Canadian Forces Skyhawks put on an incredible demonstration just a little while ago. The teams are excited to be back here. It's a road trip for everyone. They stay out to go to Saskatoon on Wednesday and feel the energy. It's a great opportunity as well to score some big points.
Thanks very much, Todd. And Gary, both you touched on it, Todd touched on it. Points are up for grabs here today. The teams pack up. They're far away from home. It's an exciting time, but there's two races pretty close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, you've got to have a good Western swing if you want to have any option to win the championship. You've got to stay focused.
And this place is a good place for things to go bad. It's a very tight quarter-mile oval.
Yeah, it is a tough little track. You know, there's one lane, and that is the bottom. And the lower you can get and make speed, the better it is. You've really got to think about restarting on the inside.
It'll be a rough and tumble race for this entire 300-lap distance. And when we return, we'll take a look at the drivers to watch live on RevTV. Welcome back. We're closing in on the command to fire engines here to start the NAPA 300 in Wetaskiwin, Alberta at the Edmonton International Raceway. But let's focus now on some of the drivers to watch. And one of the drivers we'll be focused on today, driver the 96, Marc-Antoine Camirand, who comes into this one second in points.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ignore him. He won here in 2022. He backed it up with another win in 2023. Not a great qualifying result, but he's going to be fast in the long run.
That's the thing. He's going to have a lot of work to do to come back through this field, and it's all about keeping your nose clean here. So he'll have a little bit of elbows up, but he's got to keep that in mind, that he has to keep those fenders on the car as well. Another driver that we're going to be taking a look at over the course of this 300-lap distance is so very, very good here, and that's the driver, the 74, Kevin Lacroix.
Yeah, I mean, he dominated here last year. His oval program has been very good over the last couple of races. He's been crazy fast. you can't count him out. He's going to be a guy to watch.
Yeah, he was so good. He battled with Andrew Ranger here a year ago. He's got Etienne Cliche top the box, calling the shots for that 74 team. So keep an eye on that car. He will be in the mix. But one driver who isn't necessarily somebody we've seen a lot of in the NASCAR Canada Series, but we've started to talk more and more about him, and that's because he stood on the podium at just his second start. That's Ryan Vargas.
Yeah, super impressive out of Ryan. You know, he's got so much experience, different starts in different cars, NASCAR Euro Series, Truck Series, the ARCA Menard Series, and now he's really finding a home here. You know, he's got all that experience, and he's been able to put it to good use here in the NASCAR Canada Series.
And he's from California, and admitted he wasn't all that comfortable with the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in his first start, but Riverside, he really came around and showed what his true mettle is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he's got a good team behind him, too. And DJ Kennington Racing, the DJK prepared number 28. Keep an eye on that driver here today. But back-to-back poles for the driver that we're going to be focusing on over the course of the day, the driver of the 80, Donald Teege.
Yeah, I mean, he's always lightning quick on that short run, you know, qualifying, practice, whatever it is. You know, he just hasn't been able to put it together all that often in the long run, so he's going to be a guy to watch, you know, lightning quick here.
Yeah, for sure. And with more on your pole sitter, let's send it down trackside with Todd Lewis. Todd?
Try to take the lead and keep it, you know, until the mid race, and try to do a good strategy for the end.
How much does this track change with the temperature drop?
Oh, you know, that's a tough track. You know, no outside groove, so you got to stay on the bottom. So probably we're going to see some bob and pass. But you know, if we cool down, you know, just be on the pavement, not on the pavement, on the same assignment, we can be fast up there. So that's what we test this morning.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Donald Teege will lead the field to green here for 300 laps of action.
Thanks very much, Todd. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's NAPA 300 at Edmonton International Raceway. And Donald Teege set the pace. He was quick in practice, quick in qualifying as well. And the 80 will start on pole. Alongside him will be the 27 of Andrew Ranger. No surprise to see him there as well.
No, I mean, he was super fast here last year. He almost stole the win away from Lacroix. You know, he's going to be a tough guy. If he gets a big lead out early, he's going to be a tough guy to catch.
You look back to row number 2, though, his teammate, Matthew Kingsbury, he's never been here before, and he was quick in qualifying.
Yeah, super impressive out of him. You know, we don't know what to expect from him. We're going to see.
Yeah, for sure. And he'll start alongside Kevin Lacroix, again, one of the drivers who we're going to be focusing on. There's rookie Ryan Vargas in row number 3. He'll start alongside LP Dumoulin, who does have a win here in the 47, but has struggled as of late.
Yeah, Dumoulin's been hot and cold here, hot and cold in the whole Western swing. You know, those years he's won the championship, he's done well here. A couple years, you know, he's struggled a little bit, so we don't really know what to expect from him.
Your points leaders, DJ Kennington, starting to the inside of row number 4. He'll have fellow veteran Jason Hathaway beside him, so a veteran row there in row number 4. But keep an eye on DJ Kennington. He's crafty, and he'll work his way to the front. He always does.
Yeah, both of these guys here do such a good job at working on their car in the middle of the race. They're going to communicate what they need. They know in their head what they need. They're going to take advantage of that mid-race break, and they're going to have fast cars at the end.
Yeah, that's something we'll be talking about, too. His strategy doesn't really come into play as much because we will have a mid-race break, and they're second place in points. Marc-Antoine Camirand, and he'll start alongside the Saskatchewan native, Matthew Shirley, who's making his first start of the season in the 46. But it'll be fun to watch. Again, there's just about 0.2 of a second through this whole field. It's that tight.
Absolutely. You know, the 96, Camirand, could have had a bobble in qualifying, and that's where he is. It's not reflective of his true potential speed over the course of this race.
When we return, we will fire the engines for the start of the NAPA 300 live here on Rev TV. Just had a fabulous flyby from the Canadian military here at Edmonton International Raceway as we get set to get things underway for the NAPA 300 for the NASCAR Canada Series. The third stop after Mother Nature didn't want to play a couple races, so unfortunately races were postponed, but we're already to the midpoint, theoretically, of the season with the Western Swing. Let's set it down trackside for the start of today's proceedings.
Racers, start your engines!
The engines come to life here on the front straightaway. That is Cade Shaw from OK Tire, the command to fire engines, and you can see all the vehicles have come to life. And this is where the NASCAR officials walk up and down just to make sure there's no issues.
Yeah, they want to make sure your belts are tight and your steering wheel is on and locked in there straight, and yeah, you're ready to roll.
And the crews vacate back into the paddock area, getting set for that midway break. And that is so important here today because it's realistically your only opportunity to make any changes.
Absolutely. It takes some of the strategy out of play for some of the guys. But, you know, the strategy can sometimes be overwhelming, and it might simplify the race for a lot of these teams here, just really trying to focus on having overall raw speed.
We touched a little bit on this facility itself. It is absolutely jammed with fans, by the way. They love their NASCAR racing. You can see it is a 100% packed house. And all of those fans are in for a great race because it is so challenging. Just a tight quarter-mile oval.
Absolutely. You know, at some point during this race, they're going to see fireworks. There's one fast line around this track, and it is on the bottom. You get as low as possible, and guys aren't going to be afraid to use the bumper to get there.
The bumper and even more of the track, because you'll see as the tires start to wear off, the drivers will be searching for grip, and sometimes that includes the apron of this track.
Absolutely. I mean, super unique track if you're watching this on TV. The track is so flat, and there's such a wide back straight that you don't use the whole racetrack. Guys get away with really blocking and keeping the car down to the bottom of the track, so that's where you see the bumper sometimes come into play, but you know, a harrowing track to drive fast.
Yeah, for sure. And we talk about the weather here, too. And it is always hot, and it's always sweaty, and it's always 300 laps, and it is once again today. It's going to be a difficult race for these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, physically, mentally, you know, I've had tears streaming off the right side of my face before at this track here. If there's a long green flag run, you know, guys are going to struggle mentally and really trying to stay focused and keep those lap times.
Yeah, and it has been, typically, we've seen long green flag runs here in the last several years. And then, of course, a fight to the finish because the elbows tend to come up as you get down towards the final few laps before a finish here in the NASCAR Canada Series. And undoubtedly, we'll see that again today. Remember, Donald Teach sat on pole at Riverside, and he didn't make it through the first set of corners. Something broke on that number 80. And he's hoping for better luck today, but he brings the same speed.
Yeah, absolutely. This might be a little bit of an easier track to kind of get away clean from the field going into corner one. You know, he's got to have the opportunity to really launch on the start, and he has by far the preferred line compared to the outside going into corner one. So fingers crossed for him. He's going to have a clean start here, and he can show us what he's going to do.
Remember, that's a brand new chassis that Donald Teach brought to Riverside, so it's only got a handful of laps on it. So you know it is going to be good once again today. The drivers are getting some heat into their brakes and into those general tires as they cycle behind the caution car, getting set again to do battle for 300 laps here at Riverside International Raceway. A different look to the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. We'll talk about that different livery as the field starts to line up 2 by 2, and we get set to bring you the green flag here in short order. Looks like the pace car is set to pull in as we get set to head to green, and we are underway here in the NAPA 300 at Edmonton International Raceway. Donald Teach with Andrew Ranger up alongside. Ranger will be looking to get low very, very shortly. As soon as he has that gap, he'll want to dive down.
Yep, all the spotters on the guys for the outside telling them that you're not clear yet, keep digging, and that's what the 27's doing.
Joe Chisholm Jr., the longtime spotter of Andrew Ranger, will be in his ear right now. He's just telling him to try and be competitive in that GM Paille number 27. Hanging on the outside, he's got his teammate Matthew Kingsbury down low, and his other teammate, the Innovative Auto Sport, the number 74.
Yeah, there he
Kevin
goes.
Lacroix.
There's his chance. He's in now. We're going to see what kind of pace the 27 has here. DJ hanging it down low, looking to the inside of his teammate out of corner 2. We'll see. He's going to probably try that again coming out of corner 2 here.
DJ Kennington had a great start, jumped up a couple of spots in the Castrol Dodge, the number 17. You can see the flash of green, the mid-pack there hanging onto the back bumper of the rookie, Ryan Vargas.
Yep, he's digging there, and that's the beautiful thing. You know, even if you qualify near the back, as long as you're on the inside, you're going to make hay on those restarts.
So the field now settling in, and this is exactly what you need to do. When you've got a race the distance of 300 laps, now's the time. Your spotter's telling you, your crew chief is telling you, just breathe, just be calm, settle in, keep those fenders on you.
No, absolutely, and you look at it like I was mentioning about restarting on the inside. DJ's sitting there in 6th, so he's going to really try and maybe use some of his goodwill with his teammate here to get up into the 5th spot if the yellow flag comes out.
Tough to pick out the valve line number 74 of Kevin Lacroix. It's a little different look, as we mentioned, the red, blue, and white number 74 for Lacroix, but he is definitely starting to pressure second place Matthew Kingsbury in the King number 9. But all the while, the number 80 of Donald Teague is starting to open up a little gap. Now watch the 47, the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. He's towards the back battling with Matthew Shirley, but that car is a handful.
Yeah, he's got a loose race car, and I'll tell you what, on this track here, 300 laps, that is no fun at all. There goes the 27, 74, both by the 9. We'll see what the 74 has here for the 80 on overall pace.
Typical of what happens once you get shuffled up and out of the line. You tend to fall back not 1 but 2, maybe 3 spots if there's a train right behind you, and that's exactly what happened to Matthew Kingsbury. So he settles back into 4th, which is a good position for him. Again, he's never seen this place before. He's a veteran late model driver, but this is a different animal here at Edmonton International Raceway.
No, for sure. It is a daunting task, these 300 laps. And as I say that, there's DJ Kennington has passed his teammate, and he's sitting where he's probably happy for now, at least, in 5th. And he's going to want to try and see if he can get maybe 2 more spots to avoid that ugly outside restart.
We talked about Camirand and how much work he was going to have to do in the GM Paille number 96. You see him now working underneath the number 28 of Ryan Vargas. So Camirand will move up, and he's knocking on the door of the top 5, currently sitting in 6th spot. So that car does have speed. It does look like it might have just been a little bobble in qualifying, and again, that's all it took when the field was so tight.
Absolutely. The name of the game here is just having your tires underneath you when the checkered flag flies. And, you know, looking at that shot there, the 47, he's going to have to make some major adjustments. That car is loose.
Shirley in the Crush It number 46. Great looking ride for the driver out of Saskatchewan, and again, he'll be running at his home track the next event at Sutherland Automotive Speedway in Saskatoon. But happy to run both stops in the Western Tour in a car prepared out of the DJK shop. And look at DJ Kennington now, the owner of the DJK shop, as he takes a look underneath Matthew Kingsbury. So, winner in race number 2, and now looking to move up the order just a little bit more is Kennington.
Yep, there he goes. He's far enough now to the inside that pass is going to happen.
Yeah, so Kennington will take over 4th spot. It's just a matter of time before it does, but look at that, 1 and 2 in points. And again, we didn't really focus in on the point standings coming into this race, but it is tight. There's just 1 point separating Kennington, who's in the lead, and Marc-Antoine Camirand, who's in 2nd.
Yeah, you know, both these drivers know from years past that they have to execute at this race and at Saskatoon if they want to keep their championship hopes alive.
So looking at Donald Teague and the lead that he has built up at the front of the field, and it's just about Actually, it's
gone.
Just about gone, yeah. The 74 has caught him fairly quickly. So once Kevin Lacroix was able to get out into that clean air, he just really started chipping away at that lead that was built up by the Garoua number 80.
Yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, he was so good here last year. Nothing has really changed as far as rules go, as far as track surface or tires go. So his job was just to not screw up the car when he brought it back this year.
Now you see some of those drivers are already starting to nibble a little bit at that flat surface on the apron, the concrete patch towards the inside of these turns. And watch Tej, he'll just barely nip at it, and there's Lacroix. He will go full 2 wheels, almost 4 wheels down on that as these General tires start to wear down.
Yeah, you just got to find where your car is happiest, you know, and if your car is good, the lower you can get, the better you're going to be. A shorter amount of time going around this racetrack.
So there's Camirand.
He's looking to the inside of the 17.
Yeah, not using the bumper just yet. It is very early to start getting the bumper out and making enemies because race car drivers, as you well know, have long memories, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can elicit, a hot-headed retaliation by accident if you're not careful. So he's going to be careful here for at least a couple of laps. And there he goes, he's looking to the inside, and I think he's there.
Very, very close. DJ Kennington, though, very strong up on the outside, and it was Camirand who struggled at Riverside in race number 2, and it was DJ Kennington with that brand new oval car for the Castrol team, the 17 car, and he really showed great speed all day long and then capped it off with a win. Of course, Kevin Lacroix was very quick there too. Unfortunately, he had trouble during his pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, it takes full execution and a full team effort, and that's what happened out there with the 17 team. They did everything right.
For LP Dumoulin and the WeatherTech Dodge, his crew and his spotter will be telling him, you've got to go. The leaders are nearly on the same straightaway as the number 47, 35 laps in. So that's how quickly a bad car will show itself. If it's not handling the way you need it to handle, things go south in a hurry.
Yeah, and, Dumoulin's a previous winner here, so that's got to be extremely frustrating for him. The way he runs these seasons is he's really looking, to win the championship. He's trying to collect all the points he can get at every race, and this has got to be just killing him being so far off the pace.
Well, he's been such a consistent driver over the course of his career. He's not known for tearing up equipment. He's always there at the end of the race. He's sort of a where did he come from kind of driver. As we've got a battle now for the top spot as Kevin Lacroix in the valve line, number 74, has tracked down the number 80 of Donald Tej and is now working him over.
Yeah, he was knocking there a little bit. I don't know how much patience he's going to have. He's going to want to try and get out front and just like what he did last year, lap up to 5th or 6th place. There we go. Tej throwing the block there, driving down the bottom of the front straight. I don't know how long that'll last.
Kevin Lacroix took a look up to the outside, and now he took a look right at the back bumper of the Garoua Chevrolet of Donald Tej, and Tej will be feeling it, but now he's got the lap car of LP Dumoulin just up ahead in the WeatherTech Dodge, so this is going to slow him up even more. And look at Andrew Ranger. It's like, hey guys, I'm here to join the party too.
Oh, there goes the pick. Tej goes to the outside. Dumoulin stays to the bottom like you should as a lap car. Lacroix thought he'd try the bottom, but he's got to step back in line here.
Smart move by Donald Tej to try and use that lap car to keep the 74 back, and it works for at least a couple more laps. You can see that gap opens just a little bit, and it'll close fairly quickly once again.
Yeah, but with that lap traffic now, the 27 of Ranger has caught the 74, and don't count him out. He was really good here last year, and he qualified really well for this race.
One of our drivers to watch in the top 4 now, Marc-Antoine Camirand. Remember where he started? Second to last at the tail end of the field, and the GM Paye number 96 has really lit the candles underneath the hood of that machine.
Yeah, that car looks like it's just on rails, and he's been so good at that middle and long run speed. he's going to be good here.
Yeah, it was an uncharacteristic rough race at Riverside for the 96 team just a few weeks ago here in race number 2 of the NASCAR Canada Series on RevTV. And it just never really seemed to get working as we've got a little bit of bumping once again at the front of the field as Kevin Lacroix once again goes to work on Donald Teat. And we talk about good cars and bad, but the 74 appears to be just a little bit better than the 80 because Teej opens up a bit of a gap and then it closes up fairly quickly.
Yep, he's got his nose to the inside there, but yep, he's back to the inside again, and yeah, Teej is going to let him go here.
Yeah, that's might be a smart move. And
maybe not, but I've never seen a guy hang on the outside and get his position back.
Especially not with everybody on equal tires. It's different if you have new tires versus old, but Kevin Lacroix now moves to the lead in the NAPA valve line number 74. The 27 of Andrew Ranger saw that opening, and the other GM Paillet entry, the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand, is going to do the same.
Caution's out.
You can hear the tires squealing as the caution flies for the first time here in the NAPA 300.
Oh, is the 47 here? I'd like to see a replay here. If I was the 47 here, I'd try and get a caution too.
He would be in the free pass position. 53 laps in the books of a scheduled 300 here in the NAPA 300. And the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin catches up to the back of the field. Matthew Shirley just ahead of him. So we'll get that replay queued up. We'll take a look at what happened, and we will take a quick break here from Edmonton International Raceway. Your leader in the early going is the 74 of Kevin Lacroix.
So Kevin Lacroix, the new race leader, Andrew Ranger, up leads the second at 27 to 96. Marc-Antoine Camirand under qualified. Here's the tail end of the field. Quite often, we'll see one car kind of step out and drive away in the early stages. We saw Donald Teat try to drive away, but it looks to me like there's about 4 cars that are all very evenly matched around this field. This is a minor adjustment. Yeah, and that's where pit stops come in handy. We'll see if anyone likes to take this pit stop. And it doesn't look like he got any takers except for that. He is going to put probably more wedge. I imagine that's exactly what we're going to do. Now we head down to Benoit. And the rest of that WeatherTech crew comes over the wall with the wedge lamp. And it could be wedge, it could be
Welcome back to Edmonton International Raceway. 47 making a pit stop because, as Gary Kalut called it, very loose handling. Adjustment on the right front as well. Hopefully that helps LP Dumoulin.
And welcome back to race number 3 of the NASCAR Canada Series live on RevTV. We're at Edmonton International Raceway for the NAPA 300, continuing under caution for the 47 of LP Dumoulin, who has come down pit lane. And we head down pit lane for Pinty's Pit Report with Todd Lewis. Todd?
This is actually the second stop that LP Dumoulin has made on this pit stop. They made an adjustment in handling to the left rear, a tire pressure adjustment now on both right side tires. They certainly hope that he improves, and now he's racing the pace car to stay back on the lead lap.
Well, you can see the field doubling up. Thanks very much, Todd, as we get set to go back to green. And yeah, the pace car picking up pace, so the 47 will have to get on his horse to catch the tail of the field. It is Kevin Lacroix and it is Andrew Ranger will lead them back to green in the Pinty's restart zone.
Oh, Ranger's going to try and squeak in here. Nope, he's going to stay on the high side. He sees, or his spotter's telling him there's a little bit of a gap between the 74 and the 80. Keep digging, maybe it'll open up.
Not a big surprise to see the 27 testing the high lane. Andrew Ranger seems to love to do it no matter where the NASCAR Canada Series stops, and he'll hang out there and now battle with the 80 of Donald Teach, who has poked his nose back up into the battle for second spot.
Yeah, he's fighting his way back here. We're going to see if he has the pace to keep that position. And then look at the 17, DJ Kennington. He's made his way up to fourth already.
Kennington from St. Thomas, Ontario, in the Castrol Dodge. Ooh, he got chopped. The 27 found a hole in front of him, but there wasn't much of a hole there. But he managed to get it down and avoid contact, and I think by the grace of DJ Kennington backing out.
Absolutely. Ranger and Kennington, they've been teammates for years and years in the past, and they've got a good working relationship, I'll say, where there's give and take, and they both know there's no malintent there.
That said, that grace will not be shown if this was 4 to go.
Oh, absolutely not. we're racing here, and as I say that, DJ's got his nose resting against the rear end of the 27 there, so he got to the inside. We'll see if he's going to take that third spot away.
DJ Kennington, a working man's NASCAR driver, and he's rolling up his sleeves here in the NAPA 300. And yeah, he's just leaning on that left rear quarter panel of the GM Paille number 27 of Andrew Ranger, just enough to loosen him up. But how about the Choco number 3 of Jason Hathaway, who's showing great speed as well?
Absolutely, but it looks like he's falling into the clutches of the 96 here. The 96 is right on his bumper, giving him a shot every corner here. He's going to look to the inside here shortly.
Hathaway and Kennington actually started 7th and 8th on the field, so they've done well to move up to where they are, 4th and 5th on the track right now. There is your top 2, though. The 74 of Kevin Lacroix, that new look for that race team for this Western swing, and the Garois number 80 of Donald Teach, who debuted that new look at Riverside Speedway just last race. And so far, this outing for that 80 team has gone much better than the first time out.
Yep, he's thinking about it. He's keeping his nose a little bit low there, seeing if he can get some traction down the inside. We just saw a beautiful shot there of all the cars coming down the front straight, and unfortunately for the 47, we see him still lagging behind and off the pace.
Kennington does manage to complete that pass into the top 3 now as he gets around Andrew Ranger. And again, Ranger's so quick to try and get down in front of Hathaway, and he manages to do so. We talk about lap times. Kevin Lacroix about a 10th quicker, or a 10th slower than Donald Teach. So Teach has really picked up the pace. The cooling off of those General tires seems to help that 80 car.
Absolutely. We're going to see how long this run lasts for him. And you know, looking back at this overhead view here, you got DJ Kennington in 3rd. He's probably going to be in no hurry to chase these guys down. He's going to use up a lot of tire there. He knows there's going to be a caution in the middle of the race, so he's just going to cruise. He's got a 2-car length gap on Ranger. Now he's in cruise control mode.
Really doesn't take long to click off laps here. You're looking at under 14 seconds. It was under 13 seconds for a qualifying lap. So that's how quickly things move along here. And you can see we've already completed lap 75 as Donald Teach puts a nose on the back bumper of the 74. And Teach, the driver out of Bois-Catel, Quebec, is looking to stick it on the inside of the driver out of Saint Eustache, Quebec.
Yep, he's still there. He's still there working on him. And he's well to the inside now. That pass is as good as done.
If you're Kevin Lacroix and you're hanging on the outside there, do you think maybe I should just back up and follow him, or do you continue to push your General tires and see if there's going to be anything out there for later in the race?
Yeah, I mean, it does no harm, you know. If you find yourself on the outside on a restart, which you will during the course of these 300 laps, you've got to be able to make it work to some degree. So he's going to keep digging. No harm, no foul here. He's got a big gap behind him, and now he's going to tuck in behind.
Yeah, but a pretty good showing. He hung out there for about 3 or 4 laps in the 74. So yeah, put that in the mental bank and use that for later, and he might be able to make a pass if he needs to. And Kevin Lacroix will. But right now it is all Donald Teach as he's taken back over top spot. He started on pole. He led in the early going before Kevin Lacroix managed to get around. And then now he has retaken the lead. And what's interesting here about this tight facility, and passing is generally a premium. I mean, it's a bump and run kind of place. It's a tight quarter-mile oval. You know it's going to be sort of that elbows-out fight. But qualifying is so important. As a matter of fact, only 2 drivers, Marc-Antoine Camirand and Andrew Ranger, have won starting from 5th. For the most part, you either start first or second and you go to victory lane.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to have that premium restart zone. And again, yeah, these long green flag runs, these short little laps allow guys to build up a big gap, and it's hard to claw your way back. You can't just go and drive the car harder. It's not going to give it to you.
This is just now a cruise for the top 2 as they have almost linked up nose to tail. Kevin Lacroix got past, and he has settled in nicely in second spot. Third place, though, is DJ Kennington, who's not going away. As a matter of fact, DJ Kennington is coming. He's a little bit quicker than the top 2 as far as last lap times go. So don't count out that green, white, and red number 17.
Let's go to Todd Lewis here down in pit lane.
A little bit more on the 74 car of Kevin Lacroix. He did allow Donald Teach to retake the lead without too much of a fight. Just checked in with the team, said he's a little bit loose. And as Gary mentioned, you mentioned earlier that there's going to be a break in the middle of the race. They will make some adjustments at the time. So he's staying in close contact and keeping an eye on that 17, as Dave mentioned, is coming pretty quickly, but in a pretty comfortable position right now to ride around and assess the performance of his car.
Thanks very much, Todd, with the Pinty's Pit Report. And yeah, you see Kennington right there, but also you see the leaders bearing down on the 47.
Whoa, 74, way loose. He's trying hard there. He lost the front end going into corner 3. Now he's to the outside. He's looking to go for the lead here.
So what we thought was going to be a cruise for Kevin Lacroix has now turned into a street fight as he starts to pick up the intensity on the 80 of Donald Teach into the inside, down onto the flat for Kevin Lacroix, and maybe some contact into Donald Teach as well. Kevin Lacroix wants the lead back bad.
Yeah, they're trying to decide who's going to lead as they approach the 47 of LP Dumoulin here. Neither of them want to be side by side. We're going to see.
We talked about using the apron, and at that time, the 74 used 4 wheels on the apron and managed to make it work.
Who's most impressive right now, I'd say, is the 17. He's just slowly ticking off laps. He's now all but caught the 2 leaders there. Man, oh man, he's got a good long run car, and you know he was good last showing out. So he's going to be good again here on the long run.
Matthew Kingsbury, who started in 3rd spot, has drifted back just a little bit, currently sitting in 8th position. So he's going to be a driver who will be looking forward to that halfway break in the King number 9 as well to make some changes. You see him just ahead of that blue and yellow number 46 of Matthew Shirley. But there you have the field and how closely bunched they are. The top 3 all on the same straightaway. DJ Kennington has managed to track down the 2 leaders, and he's now just about 1.4 seconds the last time by off the leader.
Looking at that overhead shot, I mean, even from way up in the air, you can see how loose the 47 is. He is struggling here, you know, and then by the same token there, look at how good a job the 46 of Shirley's doing. He's just ticking off laps. He's right there.
Battle
Great
for
job.
4th spot between the 2 GM Paillet cars. You see it's Camirand on the inside, and he makes contact with Ranger as they try to get around the 47 of LP Dumoulin. Now we're going to go 3 wide as Vargas goes to the inside. The meat in that sandwich was the driver, the 27, Andrew Ranger. Boy, LP Dumoulin really had to back out of that one because he saw that whole situation going badly.
Yeah, heads up move by Dumoulin there to get out of the way. And man, Ranger got the short end of the stick. It is so tough when you're battling for position and trying to get around lap traffic here when there's one lane that works.
Camirand didn't want to wait.
Caution's out, caution's out.
So for the second time, yellow flag will slow the field here in the NAPA 300 with Kevin Lacroix, your current race leader. And Donald Teague currently running in second spot. DJ Kennington, Marc-Antoine Camirand, and Ryan Vargas round out the top 5 as that caution flies on the field. Doesn't look like anybody stopped on track right now. We're going to take a quick break while we have this moment. You're watching NASCAR Canada Series live on RevTV.
Going to happen a little bit later on as this race hits well past the midway stage point, which is going to be at the 150 mark. Speaking of 50, we're going to be calling last call for 50-50 tickets. Last call for 50-50. We're going to be drawing that a little bit later on in the evening here at Edmonton International Raceway.
So Kevin Lacroix has left here last year tonight. Donald Teague, they have swapped the lead multiple times. If you look at those race cars, there is still barely a mark on either one of them. Great, hard, clean racing.
It's been fantastic clean racing here at Edmonton International Race. LPD Malin with the starter struts here brought up that second caution back into the pit, making it lighter. Get that back on again. We're going to have a nice full restart coming up in the next couple of laps here.
And you've got to take the opportunity. His car is not quite right. He knows that. The crew knows that. Keep making swings at it and see if you can improve it. They've got another race to run on Wednesday night afternoon. At this point, if you're healthy, you're one that you're wondering.
Green flag back up in the air as you're watching the NASCAR Canada Series on RevTV. The field passes through the Pinty's restart zone, and Kevin Lacroix will lead that first lap back under green, and now he has that Castrol Edge number 17 of DJ Kennington on his back bumper as Donald Teague in the Garoua number 80 slides back on the outside.
Yeah, he's stuck on the outside, and there goes DJ looking to the lead.
DJ Kennington, who was a little bit quicker than the leaders and started chipping away at that lead, is now on the back bumper and within striking distance of the Valvoline number 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Andrew Ranger in the GM Paille number 27 right there as well, as Ranger managed to get back around the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand, so that'll feel good after a little bit of contact between those two drivers.
Yeah, just how important it is to restart on the bottom. Ranger had a good restart there, and he's sitting third. And there goes DJ. He's looking to the inside on the 74. A little bit of contact. It's not there yet. He's going to keep digging on the bottom.
And again, we talk about DJ Kennington being a veteran of this series. He's using that flat part, and now he's got a fender underneath, and now he uses that fender on the 74 of Kevin Lacroix as Lacroix has to hang on to it. You saw the smoke from the General Tires as the car went very crossways. To the lead goes the driver, the Castrol Edge Dodge, DJ Kennington.
Looks like the 74, oh, he's going to lose it to the 27. The 27's still there. Oh boy, he's going to be hot.
Kevin Lacroix he will remember this, as a matter of fact, and he will use that later in the race. Right now, though, he's got to battle off a pair of GM Paille backed entries of the 27 of Andrew Ranger and the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. And for Camirand, he comes into this one second in points, just one back of DJ Kennington. You see that 17 out in front, and now the urgency gets up in the cockpit of the 96 car.
Yeah, the urgency is visible there. He was looking to almost make that 3 wide at one point. He's seeing that 17 go. He does not want him to set sail. Almost 3 wide again.
Contact between the 80 of Donald Teach and the 3 of Jason Hathaway nearly sent the Leland number 3 of Jason Hathaway around as Donald Teach now goes to the... Actually, he got slid up the racetrack and Ryan Vargas moves to the inside. So Vargas has been one of those drivers who has been sitting back in the critical path security number 28 and just waiting for the opportunities to present himself as we got a 3-way battle for second spot.
Yeah, Camirand is looking out the front and he's seeing the 17 drive away and he's telling himself, it is time to go. I've got to catch this guy. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's making the move on the 27 right now. He'll be in P2 here when the next lap ticks off.
Yeah, so you look at how far back the 74 did fall when he got stuck up on the outside after losing the lead to DJ Kennington with a pack of cars chasing. Kevin Lacroix dropped all the way back to 4th before he found a hole to get back to the inside, and now he goes back to work and moves to the inside of the 27, but Andrew Ranger is not going to go away. He's continuing to battle on the high side and seems pretty comfy out there.
Oh, this is just such a good race. All these 4 cars are so good. 74 sideways there, digging on the bottom on the 27. You know, that's a tough guy to get around who's so comfortable on the outside.
Donald Teach has managed to get around the 28 of Ryan Vargas into 5th spot. Now Kevin Lacroix alongside the GM Paille. Number 27 going to go around. A double spin, and Lacroix almost hits the end of the wall, at least the tires at the end of the wall. Both get righted. We are under caution here on lap 124 in the NAPA 300, but oh boys. This got exciting. We saw those two battling side by side, and Lacroix was very loose on the inside, and it looks like that's exactly what happened. Back end kicks out, he gets into the 27, and both of them go for a loop.
Yeah, let's go to Todd Lewis. He's got a story down here in pit lane.
Edmonton International Raceway tempers usually do flare out here during one of these events. But yeah,
has himself a flat left front tire that he is limping around right now. Team scrambling to find their emergency tire for a change as Andrew gets down to pit lane. And you can see that left front is flat. So first thing is get the car lifted up. Pry bar goes underneath so they can get the jack underneath. But Andrew doesn't want to lose a lap, so he leaves while they're getting the car ready. But I expect he'll be back here momentarily.
And that's something to talk about too. There's a brake race. If you do have a flat tire, you're allowed to change only that one tire, and it's a NASCAR-approved emergency tire. You can't take one of the two that you're going to put on during the break. Here comes Ranger back down pit lane.
Yeah, the team will be ready for him this time. They're going to have to lift that car up. It's tough to get the jack under when you've got a flat tire. They're ready to go. He's not going to lose a lap here, hopefully, if this pit stop goes well for him.
Etienne Cliche calling the shots for the 27 team. As you can see, they go to work on the left front corner of the 27. So that's obviously where the contact was made with the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And we should mention that Lacroix and Rangers cars are prepared out of the same shop. So it's not like there's any sort of, bad blood between those two drivers.
No, that was just hard racing. Ranger was doing such a good job, hanging tough on the outside, and probably a little frustrating for the 74, and he kind of sailed it in there to corner 3 and collected them both.
So you can see a couple of drivers taking the opportunity to make a quick stop, make some changes. The Dura King number 9 and Matthew Kingsbury. And again, he was one of the storylines that we talked about. Great run in qualifying, but struggled a little bit in the green flag run. Was still on the lead lap, but had sort of dropped towards the tail of the field. So he's going to come in, make some changes, and go and check to see how it feels. You get a 20-lap, essentially free run to make some changes and see how it works.
No, absolutely. There's no reason not to come down pit lane. He's got to try something. He does not have the same pace that he had in qualifying. He's going to have to go to work on that car. Looks like Dumoulin here, I believe, is going to get the free pass again. Boy, he's, as bad as the day has been for him, he's been one lucky guy with these cautions.
Yeah, so he'll get one of his laps back. That's another look at what happened. So you can see the two cars going in side by side in through 3 and 4, and The back just gets around on the 74 and into the left or front of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. And both go for a smoky slide. They avoid the wall, which is important, but Lacroix almost caught the inside wall, which would have been a lot worse for the 74 team.
So you see the cars lining up here. You've got the 47 right behind the pace car. He's going to take that lucky dog. He's going to get his lap back, and then the 17 is going to restart on the front.
Packed house, as you can see, the crowd just filling the stadium stands here at Edmonton International Raceway. And hats off to Ron and Loretta Thiering, the operators of Edmonton International Raceway. They do a wonderful job putting on this event. It's not just a day of event. They have different days of NASCAR displays and actions that have been happening in and around Wetaskiwin and into Edmonton as well. So they've been drawing the fans to Edmonton International Raceway as we get into the Pinty's restart zone, and we're back underway here in the NAPA 300.
Oh, aggressive restart by DJ. He got a little bit of contact there with the 96, and man, it paid off. He is clear sailing out front.
Looked like a little bit of tire spin out of the Castrol Edge Dodge, but yeah, he opened up a big gap. Now Ranger will slot in front of the Gatois number 80 of Donald Teege. The Leland number 3 of Jason Hathaway, a big winner in that caution, as he's up inside the top 5, sitting in 4th as Vargas nearly catches the wall.
Yep, Ranger and Lacroix wasting no time trying to get back through this field. Both of them already up into the, Ranger, Lacroix in 5th, Ranger in 6th. Great restart for those guys.
Kingsbury, another driver who made a pit stop in the Duraking number 9 to make some changes on that car. It appears as though it brought that car to life as he's battling underneath the 28 of Ryan Vargas, but back up at the front, it is still DJ Kennington, your points leader coming into this event. Second place in points coming into this event was the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand, and that's where he sits on the racetrack right now.
See the 47, I believe we caught a glimpse of him coming down pit lane. That is not good for him.
Yeah, so it's just another bump in the road for the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin. And there you can see visually the lead built up by DJ Kennington. On the clock, it's about a second. And the 47 WeatherTech team, they're trying to figure out, it might be a tire that's gone down or possibly some other breakage underneath, but we stay green, and what's hurting that team is that laps continue to tick down. So he's going more and more. He's now 5 laps down.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road back. There's going to have to be a number of cautions for him to get a couple laps back, and likely won't happen here. Looking at the 80, he's working over the 96 here. He still has that qualifying pace. Very impressive long run pace out of the 80. We're going to see if he can get by the 96, and both guys are trying to hunt down that 17 who's just taking off laps out front.
We talked about a new chassis for the 80 of Donald Teege that he debuted at Riverside. Unfortunately, had something break in that car in the early going. As a matter of fact, didn't make it through 2 corners of that race before having to retire. But one of the big off-season changes for that team was hiring Don Thompson Jr., former champion driver in the NASCAR Series, but longtime crew member for Kevin Lacroix, crew chief for Kevin Lacroix, and just vast amounts of knowledge in these cars. He's now on top of the box for the 80 team, and that is a big boost for that organization.
Absolutely. He's just got so much experience with these cars, with these tires, with these tracks. He's going to be a wealth of knowledge, and he's going to be a calm voice on the box, telling Teege, hey, race is only halfway over. Just keep the car together, have a good run here.
Yeah, we're coming up. We're about 4 laps away from what could be the halfway break. And we say it's halfway. It's on or around lap 150, according to NASCAR. When they say it's a break race, that's the verbiage they use in the regulations. So DJ Kennington out in front of Marc-Antoine Camirand, Donald Teege, Kevin Lacroix back up to 4th as he's managed to get around the Leland number 3 of Jason Hathaway in the Ed Hackinson Racing prepared entry.
You know, in the 74, he's probably used up his tires a little bit marching back through the field here. And from what I understand, during the break, they're only going to be allowed to take 2 tires. So a guy like DJ right now, he's just saving his stuff. He's trying to be as smooth as possible around this course so that he takes, you know, really good care of his tires and has good tires underneath him at the end.
Yeah, unlike the first 2 events of the 2025 season, it will be a brake race, so essentially the cars stop, the engine shut off, and the teams have 5 minutes to make the changes they need and to change 2 tires only. So he'll probably put right side general tires on, but we will find out very shortly as you see the crossed flags, and we're very close to the halfway point. Now it's up to the discretion of the NASCAR officials as to when we will take that halfway break, but anticipating a caution flag very shortly. So DJ Kennington continues out in front of Andrew Ranger, or excuse me, Marc-Antoine Camirand. Andrew Ranger currently running in 6th spot, the 2 very similar painted cars. You can tell the difference because of the roofs. It's a little tip for anybody watching. You can see Marc-Antoine Camirand has a red roof, GM Paillet sponsor. Andrew Ranger has a black roof.
You can see right here, look at the urgency of the 74. He's sitting in 4th. He knows the caution is coming any lap now. He doesn't want to restart 4th. He wants to restart in 3rd, and he's working over the back of the number 80.
And that is something that the spotters will be telling these drivers. Right now, you're in a good restart position. Hold your spot, get to that break, and we're now 6 laps over the halfway mark, so it should be coming any minute, but NASCAR officials might be watching this battle and finding how it settles out before throwing that midway break.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time the 74 has given the 80 the bumper.
And
the
a
80,
significant bumper.
Yeah, he defends down the front straight again. Not going to be able to defend for long.
Kennington has opened up about a 2nd lead, and he's sort of held that now for a series of laps over the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. He just he jumped out to that gap, and then he has been watching his mirror and keeping the 96 at bay, and here is the halfway break caution. So yellow flag once again in the NAPA 300 here in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, as we see the halfway break. So we will take a break as the drivers catch their breath. You're watching the NASCAR Canada Series live on RevTV.
Conditions
Welcome back to the NAPA 300 as we continue under the red flag, the brake race for crews to be able to do the work. So the 2 General tires going on. The Gulf race fuel has already gone into a lot of these cars. We're focused in on the GM Pie number 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. Let's go pit side. Todd Lewis is with the Pinty's Pit Report.
We'll give you some updates on the cars that are taking place their pit stops right now. The fuel has gone in first. They have a 5-minute break, so there's plenty of time to get all of the service done. And teams have been changing 2 right side General tires. It's a maximum 2 tire change. And then you'll see the handling adjustments that are taking place. The crew chief, Robin McCluskey, on that 96 car, doing a little bit of a handling adjustment on the left rear. Not quite exactly where they want it. The 80 of Donald Teege is also getting a bit of a handling adjustment. Checked in with Don Thompson, his crew chief. Said he was just a little bit loose on this last run. And also checked in with the 17 of DJ Kennington. And I'll tell you, Pete, that crew chief you got, Gary Clute, is pretty good, because John Fletcher said the car's great. We're not changing anything. He's not even pushing it to its full potential yet. So 17 has got something for the second half of this race.
You're going to have to open up your wallet to get your crew chief back when you race in Calabogie in a few weeks' time. But John Fletcher Jr. has been helping out the Castrol Edge Dodge team of DJ Kennington. Of course, winners at Riverside, the first time they teamed up together and came in as the leader here today during the halfway break here in the NAPA 300. We'll be back to bring it back to green here on Rev TV.
Shout out to DJ Kennington and number 17 for just going through the field smart, clean racing, and boom, puts him on the leading position coming out of this break for sure. So we'll see how that all works itself out. But you got to give it to these drivers. They're giving it all, even though, like you mentioned, with Saskatchewan looming on Wednesday, trying to save their stuff. They're not saving their stuff. They're going for the win right here, right now. So we'll see what this last 140 laps has up for us to offer here.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to remind everybody, I was just speaking with somebody who downloaded the TrackTune app and was able to hear the commentary from us announce team up here in the upper C cans, and they said it's crystal clear. You can hear us perfectly. So if you haven't downloaded the TrackTune app, go right ahead and do it now. It'll make life a lot easier for you, easier on your ears also, for sure. But yeah, we got plenty of racing here to go. It's only lap 1.
And welcome back to the third race of the 2025 NASCAR Canada Series season on Rev TV. We're at the Edmonton International Raceway for the NAPA 300. And we're still towards the tail end of the 5-minute clock here as part of the halfway break. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Gary Clute, and Todd Lewis has been patrolling the pits for us here this afternoon. And you can see the crews just finishing up their work here as we take a look at the running order as it stands coming to this halfway break caution. DJ Kennington, who started, pretty deep in the field, has found his way to the front of the pack ahead of Marc-Antoine Camirand and Donald Teege. Teege, of course, qualified on pole.
Yeah, and then you look at fourth spot there. You've got Kevin Lacroix, who was involved in that early incident there with Andrew Ranger, and he's clawed his way back to fourth, so he's going to be a guy to watch. He's going to be eager to get back up front and see if he's got the pace to take this thing.
But you know what? It's been such a tightly knit group towards the really throughout this field, the 47 of LP Dumoulin is the only driver that is currently out of this one, is 25 laps down as the WeatherTech Dodge. See him held there on pit lane. He may come out and turn some more laps as the crew had a little bit of extended time to try and fix what was wrong. But you saw the hood up on that car for a long period of time.
You know, even when you're, whatever it is, 25 laps down, you just can never give up. There could be a catastrophic crash. It could take a bunch of guys out who are going to end up, you know, in a close running. So you're going to have to try and work on that car, get back out there and scrape together all the points you can get.
Jason Hathaway in the 3 car. He has made 5 starts here at Edmonton International Raceway. And his best career finish was a runner-up in 2019, so he's yet to taste victory lane. He's got a pretty racy hot rod in that Leyland number 3 here today, so we'll see what he can do here in the latter half as that crew has made some changes. But again, another driver started deep in the field, worked his way up through, and so you know he's got a little bit left in his back pocket.
No, absolutely, and you know, my crew chief there on the box for the 17 said, our car is really good. We're not making changes, but everyone else, I imagine, at least made a small change, so we might see some cars really come to life in the second half of this race.
Well, if you were watching how small some of those changes were, you saw crew chief Robin McCluskey go out to the 96, and it was about a quarter turn on the wrench in the back window of the GM Paille number 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. So that's how minute the change is. It's not the 2-3 rounds of wedge that we've seen go in some of these cars to really make a dramatic change to the handling. They're just trying to get that little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the 96 was good, and you can adjust your way right out of the ballpark pretty easily, so you don't want to take a pretty decent car and screw it up. So they're trying to go in the right direction, but a conservative change there for the 96.
Donald Teach in the 80, the red car with the black roof, the Gatawa backed entry, brand new partner taking the rear quarter panel here in 2025 for that team. Quick in qualifying, sat on pole as we mentioned, and he'll restart in 3rd spot. And that was a position that Kevin Lacroix was trying really, really hard to get right before that halfway break, but had to settle for 4th. So Lacroix will start on the outside. The outside not necessarily a place you want to be. We'll see how this fleshes out as we're into the second half now of the NAPA 300 here on Rev TV as the field comes into the Pinty's restart zone. It is DJ Kennington and Marc-Antoine Camirand, and we're back to green.
Whoa, big contact here. Wow, Hathaway gets down to the inside. He's in 3rd.
Still more contact as Vargas tags the bumper of the number 80 of Donald Teach, and Teach will not be happy. Look at the nose of the 80 car of Donald Teach.
Yeah, I think that was the 96 being super aggressive. We just caught a glimpse of that. He was trying to cut back down, and he got back down into 2nd place from that outside restart position. Good job for him. And here goes the 3 down to the inside of the 96.
Hathaway pokes his nose. A couple of veterans in DJ Kennington and Jason Hathaway have been playing this game for a long period of time, and now they're 1-2 on the racetrack as Hathaway in the Leyland number 3 goes to the runner-up position around the defending series champion Marc-Antoine Camirand.
Look at the lead the 17 is built up there. He's got to hear.
Look at the battle for 3rd. You've got
yeah.
Donald Teach and you've got Marc-Antoine Camirand. And if you don't think there's payback on the mind of Donald Teach, you might have been watching a different race, because here he comes to the inside. It's just a little nudge, but he moves the 96 up the racetrack, and he comes back through. But you could almost see the steam coming out of the driver's side window of the 80 car of Donald Teach. He wants to get back to the front.
Wow, look at the pressure the 96 is putting on the 28. They're 3 wide down the front straight. 74 now to the inside of the 28. Wow.
Yeah, so the Camirand just really hammered the 28 of Vargas, and that opened the door for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix to move up through. And now huge damage to the 28 of Vargas. So Vargas is trying to hold tight on the outside. He's got Camirand on the inside. Then Ranger back there. Then you've got Kingsbury as well. And it's a free-for-all as the 17 of DJ Kennington opens up a gap of almost a second on the 3 car of Jason Hathaway.
96 looks now to the inside of the 74. He's going to use the bumper again a little bit. You know, these guys have to be saying to themselves, or at least Kevin's saying to himself, come on, guys, let's get together here. We've got to work together. We've got to go catch the 17.
Because even if you do fall in single file, you're not necessarily drafting. It's not a super speedway, obviously. But even if you do fall in single file, you might be quicker than the cars in front of you as long as you're just not battling.
Oh, absolutely. Battling is just going to slow you down. And as I say that, no one's listening to me. There goes the 96 down to the inside.
Oh boy, Donald Teach, he has the fire lit underneath him as the 80 car goes to work and try and catches the 3 of Jason Hathaway. That's a battle we're going to be keeping an eye on, but this one is definitely capturing all of our focus. 178 laps in the books of a scheduled 300, but this is playing out like there's 25 laps left, not 125.
Look at the pace out of the 80 car there. He's hunted back down the number 3. He's trying to get a nose down to the inside on the 3 here. He doesn't want to see that 17 drive away.
A little bump on the 3 of Hathaway as Donald Teach, and you know, you look at the damage on the right front corner. There you can see it as he goes by. There's a tire mark. You can see the full size of the general tire that pushed in that right front fender. It was so very, very close to that right front wheel. Just a little hit can knock the toe out of that car and really throw the handling for a loop.
Yeah, if the toe's out of that car, it's not showing. He's got great pace right now. There he goes. He gets his nose to the inside, but it's going to be tough to do that on Hathaway. He's going to keep digging, and he's going to take that position back.
You're not going to rattle the cage of somebody like Jason Hathaway. He's a former series champion here in the NASCAR Canada Series, so he wears that badge with pride. And Hathaway, now you do have Donald Teach getting underneath Hathaway, so maybe Hathaway thought, okay, let's just fall back and we'll follow him and try and catch the 17 of DJ Kennington. But right now, Kennington has been untouchable since the restart.
Oh, absolutely.
So this group has finally taken a breath, settled down a little bit as Camirand has managed to get around the 74. There's Vargas in the 28 who's slotted back in behind him, but Vargas must be thinking, is now the time? Do I use my bumper now?
Yeah, he's got his nose to the inside of the 74, and you got to remember who prepares that car is DJ Kennington, so he's going to relay to those guys, hey, this is the setup that's working for me. Maybe the 28 came with a different setup, hedging their bets. Now they have the data, and maybe he's got the same setup as the 17, and he's going to have a rocket ship as well in the latter half of this race.
Boy, quick flash of that camera, and you can see how close the 3 leaders are. They're coming on the top of your screen on the front straightaways. They click off another lap. 188 now in the books, and DJ Kennington has no lead over the 80 of Donald Teach. And like we said, you follow single file, and you're all able to catch them as Jason Hathaway is in there too. So it's a 3-car battle for the front.
Yeah, that 80, Donald Teach, he has a hot rod, and now he's got a nose down to the inside. He's not going to do it just yet, but he's going to keep that nose down to the inside, and there he goes. He's still trying to work on the 17 there. He might get her done in the next couple of laps here. Looks like the 17 can't quite keep the car to the bottom of the track like the 80 can.
Yeah, the 80 really manages to turn down and keep it down, but DJ Kennington might be saving those general tires for a little bit later on too. When you pinch it down hard like that, you tend to wear a lot of the rubber off, don't you?
Yeah, there's no banking on this track. You could certainly use up a right front here, that's for sure.
And Donald Teach, once again, has been showing some very, very fast laps, but he's slotted, as you can see, is the back bumper, the Brimstone Games Castrol Edge number 17. Now Teach to the inside, and Kennington will give him a little berth. Just a little one as they do rub.
Yep, DJ's going to keep fighting it here on the outside. You know, he was running almost that line. Oh, little contact coming here.
Careful, that little contact could turn into big contact with the outside wall if they're not too careful, but Teach will, no, he won't take that position, and now Hathaway is going to jump in and take advantage. Bigger contact there between the 3 and the 17. That allows the 80 to get away, take over sole spot.
Contact again on the back straight there.
Boy, Hathaway's car, when he catches that curbing and the flat part on the apron, it really pushes his car up the racetrack, and when he pushes up, the 17 is there, and they continue to make contact down the back straightaway. And we see straightaway here at Edmonton International Raceway, the back end is anything but a straightaway. You're just constantly turning.
No, absolutely. It feels like a big circle, at least on the back straight there. 17 tucks in. Wise decision to let the 3 go. He still might have a better car than the 3, but he can't keep battling. He doesn't want, the 96, the 28, the 74, all to catch these guys, to catch him. He's going to just tick off some laps here. Still 100 laps to go.
Yeah, when we take a look at the lap times, so the leader is running a 13.5 second lap, and Marc-Antoine Camirand is around there too. So yeah, as soon as you start battling side by side and mixing it up, you lose about 2 to 3 tenths of every lap, and that means any sort of lead that you have built up just evaporates so quickly because laps tick off so very, very fast here. We're under 100 to go now here in the NAPA 300 at Edmonton International Raceway.
Jason Hathaway clearly made a great change during the break, and that is what he's known for, working on his car during the race, never getting flustered, just trying to keep his head down and make his car the best it can be by the end of the race.
A little crooked there was the 3 car as he slid his way through turn number 2. He might have made it a little bit too loose, but loose is fast, right? As they say, the free race car tends to be a little bit quicker, but Hathaway is one of those drivers who's not way down onto the curbing as much in 1 and 2. He seems to let that car float up in 1 and 2, but it's really quite happy there as he's still turning some pretty quick and competitive lap times.
No, absolutely. And if you look compared to the 80 of Teach there, his line isn't that much different. I think it's mostly DJ who's looking to the bottom, trying to fill that left side mirror of the 3, trying to rattle his cage and let him know that, hey, I'm still here, I'm coming back.
Now, for your leader, we should mention that he's on the same straightaway as Matthew Shirley in the crush at number 46. So he will be coming into lap traffic fairly shortly. He's about a tenth and a half quicker than Matthew Shirley, so it won't be too long before he's looking at the back bumper of the number 46, and that will come into play because it all depends on how and where you catch that traffic and how you're able to navigate it. If you can navigate it cleanly, your lead is safe. If you get held up for just a hiccup, then your lead evaporates.
DJ Kennington turning some quick laps here while staying on the bottom, again filling that left side mirror of the 3. It's only a matter of time before he gets the nose in there, and once the nose is in there, that pass is as good as done.
Yeah, so there you can see the blue and yellow crushing at number 46 of Matthew Shirley, and then the red car, that is your race leader, Donald Teach. And so they're in the same set of corners now, but look a little bit further back. There you have Hathaway, there you have Kennington, and now you have Marc-Antoine Camirand in that mix.
Yeah, that is the last thing that DJ wants to see in his mirror. The guy 1 point behind him in the championship standings clearly has a good car and is hunting those guys down.
So Camirand has settled into pace. You know what's interesting, though, is the Valvoline Napa number 74 of Kevin Lacroix, who was so quick in the early going of this race, led a handful of laps after getting around the 80 of Donald Teach. He's sort of settled into this mid-pack. He's running 5th right now, but he's really sort of lost touch with the leaders. He's almost 5 seconds back of Donald Teach, who's at the front. The leader working around the crush at number 46 of Matthew Shirley. Up on the outside goes Donald Teach. So as Teach continues to lead, he manages to get around that lap car without issue, but look.
Oh boy,
battle
there goes
for
the
third.
96, and he's gonna get picked. DJ's gonna be wise enough here to use the pick.
He used his own car as a pick, as a matter of fact. Surely that car prepared out of the DJK shop. And yeah, Camirand will fall back into line, but he doesn't lose much time. He's right back up on the back bumper of the Castrol Edge Dodge. So your leader continues to be the driver out of Bois-Catel, Quebec. The driver, the number 80, Donald Teach, out in front. As we have 82 laps to go here in the NAPA 300 at Edmonton International Raceway. You're watching NASCAR Canada Series on RevTV. And welcome back as we continue under green here in the NAPA 300 as you watch the NASCAR Canada Series live on Rev TV. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me in the booth is Gary Klutz, and Todd Lewis is pitside. We can tell you of a change for position during that break as Marc-Antoine Camirand, the GM Paillet number 96, has really come alive here in the last several laps, managed to get around the 3 of Jason Hathaway, and is closing in on your race leader, Donald Teach.
No, absolutely. That car is on rails. He just did away with DJ Kennington and Hathaway, and now he's got his eyes set on the 80. Donnie Thompson on the box at the 80 is telling him, hey, it's now or never. It's time to go. Is this all you've got?
You can see we're 233 laps completed of the scheduled 300, and things have really settled down into this long green flag run. The first half was made up of a couple short cautions for single car spins, and then we get going after the break. The drivers made their changes, crews made the changes they needed to on the car, and settled down into this long run. And for the first time, we get to see who had set their cars up to come alive a little bit deeper into a green flag run, and it looks like Robin McCluskey, making those minute changes during the break, did something that brought that car alive.
Yeah, all he needed was that quarter turn.
You can see the 80 car sliding a little bit, as does everybody else. The one driver that's not sliding is the GM Paillet number 96. The driver from St. Leonard d'Aston, Quebec, Marc-Antoine Camirand. And the lead is just evaporating. It's now 0.7 of a second the last time they crossed the stripe. As the drivers will come into lap traffic again, they're surely just up ahead, and Kingsbury in the 9 is just ahead of the 46. So yes, this could play a role in what shakes out in the top spot, but I'm not sure if we're going to have to wait that long. Camirand is that quick. And we know he's going to be aggressive. He's not going to wait to take over top spot until an opening presents itself. He's going to make that opening happen.
No, absolutely. And while you're saying that, look at the 74 catching DJ Kennington here. DJ Kennington going a little bit backwards, going the wrong way on the racetrack here. The 74's already taken that position.
Yeah, very quickly that happened as now a battle for the lead, side by side. Camirand to the inside of Donald Teej, and no, he didn't have to use any muscle to get by. He just used raw speed as the GM Pioneer number 96 moves to the top spot. Camirand, who started so deep in this field, is now showing the way with just over 50 laps to go here in the NAPA 300.
Yeah, Donald Teej was in no position to fight that. He saw for 30 laps the 96 coming closer and closer into his mirror, and now he's just got to hang on here. He's got to not use up his tires like he was on the last couple of laps and just stick to the bumper of the 96 and pray for a late race restart.
No, you're right. He just gets to follow, try and hang with the very, very fast number 96, Marc-Antoine Camirand, as they come into lap traffic. There's Matthew Shirley, the Crush It, number 46. Beautifully prepared car. Struggled just a little bit today, but that car is very clean, so they'll take some notes back with them to Saskatoon for the next race, which will be the Leland 250, and that will come your way on Wednesday evening live here on Rev TV. We'll be happy to bring you that action once again, but we're not done here in Edmonton with the NAPA 300 as Camirand is your race leader, and we talked about it off the top of the show. He's one of our drivers to watch. He's won twice here, back-to-back, 2022 and 2023. We saw that 96 in victory lane. And after a bobble in qualifying, he made his way back up into the front, and that's where we find him right now. But all credit to the 80 of Donald Teej. He's not going away.
Yep, he's hanging on, you know. You wonder how much the 96 has slowed his pace now that he does have the lead. You know, he probably used up his tires a little bit. He's trying to cool them off just a touch as much as he can without letting the 80 get back to his bumper.
Now, we talk about that, using up your tires and you know, really putting pressure on your tires and then cooling them off and backing it off. As a driver, first off, how do you do that, and how much of a difference does it make?
Well, you know, I say cooling them off. It's pretty hard to cool them off here. You are asking a lot of your tires at every moment in time during this lap, but it's really just not overheating the tires. Once these tires get really hot, it is very, very difficult, barring a caution, to cool them off. So he's just trying to play it safe here. There might be a late race caution here. Trying
not to abuse them in the late going here as the two drivers sort of settle into a rhythm, as does Jason Hathaway, although Hathaway might have to turn up the wick here in a second because he's got the 74 of Kevin Lacroix knocking on his door. That is for the final step on the podium. Hathaway has it, but Lacroix would really like to see that Valvoline Napa number 74 in that position. So battles all over the racetrack. We'll take a quick break here on Rev TV. You're watching the NASCAR Canada Series. And welcome back to the NAPA 300 on Rev TV. Marc-Antoine Camirand continues to lead, but one driver who's out of this one early is standing by with our own Todd Lewis with his NASCAR Pinty's Pit Report. Todd?
It's a difficult day for LP Dumoulin. This has been a frustrating day for you guys. It started apparently with a broken stud. Was that how the troubles began?
Yeah, something happened with a broken stud, but afterwards we got back on track. We were good for a couple laps. Showed a lot of good speed there on old tires, but unfortunately for the WeatherTech 47 Omni-Fab Belmar car, something else got on underneath the car. So it really is frustrating, but I guess we'll be back stronger. There's nothing to do right now out there. It's just
LP Dumoulin disappointed here in Edmonton, but guys, you know he's going to come back strong in Saskatoon.
Yeah, he's always fast in Saskatoon, is that 47 car, but you can see the disappointment written all over his face.
Yeah, and while we were at break there, the teammate to DJ Kennington, the 28 of Ryan Vargas, got around DJ Kennington there and has gapped him a little bit now.
And we should mention, too, that the 74 of Kevin Lacroix has managed to get around Jason Hathaway, so he has put himself back up into that podium position. There he is, that blue hood. You see the NAPA Racing number 74 going by. The Leland Chevrolet of Jason Hathaway trailing him in fourth spot. There's the gap between the top two, though. Marc-Antoine Camirand has it in the GM Paille number 96. He is your race leader. The Gattawa Construction number 80 of Donald Teage holding down second spot. And it is a way back to the third place driver. It's almost a full straightaway, as a matter of fact, between second place to third place. So this is really a two-car dice now with under 30 laps to go.
Yeah, we're seeing the 27 there, the other position that's being contested. The 27 catching the 17 of DJ Kennington. Andrew Ranger is getting there quickly, and he has enough time to make that pass. So we'll keep tabs on that battle.
So DJ Kennington, you heard Todd mention at the halfway break that Kennington and crew decided they were going to leave well enough alone. That car was perfect in their mind, or at least good enough that they didn't want to change it and mess anything up. So this track changes so dramatically when the sun starts to set. The heat goes away from this racing service. Did they make the right call?
Well, I mean, clearly not, but, you know, there could be another variable there is your two change tires. Could have totally changed the stagger of the car. So, you know, that's happened to me on this racetrack before. You know, the car's great. We're not going to change anything. You bolt new tires on, and you actually get slower.
Yeah, it's frustrating when you just don't know, right? You measure them up, you think that this is going to be great. Once they get some heat in them, they grow, and that's what they do, don't they? They change in circumference, they change in size, and then they will change the handling of these race cars. Obviously, two cars that haven't changed that much have been quick all day long. The 96 and the 80, Camirand and Teage. 1.4 seconds is the lead built up between the 96 of Camirand and the 80 of Teage, but Camirand will be coming into some heavy lap traffic, and it's that battle that you mentioned between the 27 of Andrew Ranger and the 28 of Ryan Vargas. That's just ahead of the race leaders. So if they're still running side by the time Camirand gets there, actually, no, it's Ranger and Kennington now, as Kennington gets passed by Ranger, just ahead of the race leader.
Yeah, so Ryan Vargas had made that pass on Kennington and has set sail a little bit, and now the next guy in danger of going a lap down is DJ Kennington, the guy who's so dominant in the early stages of this race.
He was the leader at the halfway mark when we took the caution flag for the break, and Kennington in the Castrol Edge Dodge has really fallen off now, as you see Ranger up in the high groove, but they continue to battle side by side. Kennington's not going to give up that inside groove, that is for sure, as Camirand is quickly closing on that battle, and it's a battle for position, so they're not just going to pull over and let the leader go by. It's a battle for sixth position on the track between Ranger and Kennington. Ranger currently has it, but Kennington would like it back, thank you very much.
Yeah, Kennington is still to the inside, and as you said, he sees the guy who's right behind him in points coming. He's not going to pull over and let the race leader go. He's going to dig with everything he's got to not be the first car a lap down.
So now you're Donald Teach, and you might have been hanging on for a little bit, but now you crank up the urgency. You can push because you see an opening, an ability to close that gap. It was 1.6 seconds the last time they crossed the stripe. It'll likely be a lot smaller than that this time. And it will be even tighter the next time they head past the stripe because Donald Teach is coming. Lacroix, the driver, in third in the 74 as he's pretty much running his own race. He's on his own straightaway. He's making his way through lap traffic. He's got no pressure from behind, no pressure ahead, but there is second place. Donald Teach as Ryan Vargas battles with the 3 of Jason Hathaway. That's a dice for fourth spot.
What a great job by Ryan Vargas. Coming off a podium finish here, he's just been taking great care of his car all day long, and now it's paying dividends.
And no marks on the front of it. There's a big mark on the back of it as Marc-Antoine Camirand gave him a Welcome to Canada knock at one point, but the driver from La Mirada, California in the critical path security number 28 is continuing to try and move up the ladder as he battles with the 3-car of Jason Hathaway. The leader has made his way around DJ Kennington and now around the 27 of Andrew Ranger as well. So any opportunity that Donald Teach had to catch the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand seemingly gone at this point as Camirand has cleared those 2 lap
cars. Here we go.
cars.
Caution's out. Caution's out. Oh boy, 9 laps to go.
As we were saying that, boy, this throws a spanner into the works as it looked like we were just going to see the 96 cruise off into the sunset, but that will not be the case. And there will only be a handful of laps left to go once the NASCAR officials restack the field, get the lineups in order, and then send them back to green. But this is going to set up an old-fashioned shootout here in the Wild West.
Hey, I bet you $100 there's going to be contact.
What are my odds? You're absolutely right. That's going to happen. And especially with earlier contact between Donald Teach and Marc-Antoine Camirand, you know that that's going to be playing in the mind of Teach. He wants to win one of these races so badly. He did win one. He won it in Saskatoon, so he's a driver who really loves this western swing. But Teach has been good here today, and he's like, you know what? This is my opportunity. Don't be surprised if you see him just go in on a full send on this restart.
So we've got Ranger here lined up for the lucky dog. He's the first car lead lap down. Then DJ behind him. He's going to have to stay a lap down here. Look at the right front Donald Teach there, just caved in.
Yeah, and that's going to come into play too, because you can't necessarily use that right front corner much anymore because your bumper bar that would have been there is completely bent in. So if you're using it, you're using your right front and you run the risk of cutting down a tire.
No, absolutely. These are fiberglass body cars. They're not aluminum body cars. So you are running a risk every time you make contact that you're going to hook a wheel, you're going to drive over a wheel. It's akin sometimes to an open wheel car where you see these cars go up and over.
Yeah, we've seen that on a couple of occasions at different tracks. So we'll have a restart with the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. Again, a winner twice before, 2022 and 2023. Donald Teach never has won here before in his 6 starts. His best is a second in 2017. So we'll see if he can change that here today. We know that the 74 of Kevin Lacroix is good here, and he's been so good that he visited Victory Lane just 1 year ago. As a matter of fact, that car was quite dominant a year ago after he led practice, led qualifying on the pole, and then led the majority of the laps in that race as well. We'll see what he can do, as he was just essentially about a half a track behind, just running by himself. How much did he save in reserve in that valve line number 74? We get to see as the pace car speeds off, and we have Camirand and Teach along with the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. So those are the 3 cars on the lead lap as the field moves through the Pinty's restart zone, and we go back to green. Andrew Ranger, the only other driver on the lead lap in the GM Paille number 27, but it is Lacroix as Donald Teach slides back on the outside groove. Marc-Antoine Camirand will lead them to the white flag, this time through 3 and 4. Will he get there? The 74 makes contact. Almost around goes the 96 of Camirand. They sort it out. Lacroix is going to be your leader at the line. Caution flag is out, though.
Wow.
So we're going to stack the field down the back straightaway. Look at Camirand. Camirand making contact with the 74, and again another bump, and again another bump to the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix smartly jams on the gas to get out of Dodge just a little bit there, but boy, I thought he was just going to cruise through 3 and 4, and again I thought it was just going to be an easy run to the white flag and then we'd see some sparks, but no, there's still sparks under this caution period. Cameron's got to be careful. NASCAR officials will be warning him. Any antics during a caution flag period frowned upon by NASCAR officials big time.
No, absolutely. And, you know, he's got to think about the championship here. He's still in a great position for this restart. But how about the 28 of Ryan Vargas sneak into the bottom, now in the lead? My goodness.
No, he's the 1 lap down car, so he is not the leader. At this point, it is still Lacroix because there was 3 cars on the lead lap in that group.
My mistake.
So Vargas will be the first car 1 lap down. So he'll get put back onto the lead lap. Kennington was ahead of the leaders, so he's considered what they call a trap car, so he gets put back onto the lead lap as well. So we go from essentially 4 cars on the lead lap to now 6 when we go back to green. Have another look at what happened. Here comes Lacroix. You talked about it. They catch tires, and it's almost like an open wheel car.
Yep, that is the risk you run. Here, we're going to play it back again.
A hit, and then he actually straightens out the GM Paille number 96. Marc-Antoine Camirand. You saw everybody scatter in behind. So Donald Teach will restart in 3rd spot. Andrew Ranger will be up alongside in the 2nd row in 4th. But according to our timing and scoring, I believe Marc-Antoine Camirand will be put to the front of this pack for the restart. So at the time the caution came out, and I believe you go back to the last fully completed lap, that he would have been the leader. But look at the damage to the nose of the 96. So all of that,
yeah, I mean, a lot of that being done under caution.
Yeah, I was going to say. That wasn't part of the initial wreck. That was everything that happened afterwards because the 74 got into the back corner of him. So the damage is on the back end, not the front. The front was all done by Camirand, essentially retaliating during the caution period.
Well, I guess you never shook my hand there.
That's true. So the 28 will be held on the back straightaway. So he'll drop back to the back of the pack. Will be getting the, I believe, the free pass car at this point.
In my estimation, yes. Kingsbury should get the free pass because TJ and Vargas were already.
And we're just checking through our timing and scoring. And it shows Vargas currently running in 6th place, Kingsbury in the number 9 in 7th, Hathaway in the 3, down in 8th spot, and then Matthew Shirley. So Hathaway, I think, really checked up when he saw things happening in front, and I think that's where he lost a lot of his positions, dropping down into 8th position, because you remember the Leland number 3 was up towards the front of the field not too many laps ago. But, yeah, so now the drivers have to slow that heart rate, compose themselves again, especially if you are the 96 Marc-Antoine Camirand. So it looks like Matthew Kingsbury is going to be the driver who's going to be getting the free pass. And it's showing that Ryan Vargas is already on the lead lap. So he must have been ahead of the leader as the caution came out. So Vargas essentially gets his lap back on merit.
Right.
And now Kingsbury gets the free pass as part of the caution period. So there you go. So we can tell you 7 cars will be on the lead lap when we go back to green. Will all of that matter in a lap and a half? Probably it will, because we're going to see a green-white checkered finish. And we're going to see it in just a second, too. The pace car is in. The leaders pulling their way into the Pinty's restart zone. It's Camirand and Lacroix as we go back to green to settle it here in the NAPA 300. Contact early now between the 74 as Lacroix moves to the outside. Donald Teach down low. He's got Ranger up alongside him too, but look at Lacroix using the outside groove like nobody has done yet this race.
Smart move, just trying to hang there so Teach doesn't get into him. He's going to salvage a good finish here.
White flag is up for the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. And actually, that was the checkered, so it was a final dash to the finish, and Camirand will take the win, followed by the number 80 of Donald Teague, and Kevin Lacroix will come home in third spot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the delay.
What a finish to that one. Confusing at the end, but the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand, who is now a 3-time winner here at the Edmonton International Raceway. He's got the damage to the front end, and he's got the checkered flag in his hand as he outduels a final dash to the line in the GM Paille number 96. And now he gets the chance to celebrate. But that's quarter-mile short track racing, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And he certainly had the car to beat. I mean, he marched his way through the field. Again, not a great qualifying effort, but he had the overall car to beat here, and he got it done.
Yeah, so Camirand's going to wait down the back straightaway for the officials to set up the victory lane here on the front chute, and that's when our Todd Lewis will get the opportunity to chat with him as they will cross the start-finish line, and that's where they'll park the cars here on the front chute and give the fans an opportunity to cheer on the winners. But the fans catching their breath as well, and a packed house treated to a great show here at Edmonton International Raceway. And the winner of the NAPA 300 is Marc-Antoine Camirand. As looks like he's getting set to maybe do some donuts here on the front chute, but you have to be concerned about the running equipment and make sure everything keeps running, because you have a race in short order. I mean, it's a very quick turnaround for these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to have a little bit of body work to do there. They're going to have to put a new bumper on it, a new nose on the car, and, you know, they're reset it up for Saskatoon there. So they have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, so there is Camirand as he pulls into victory lane. No donuts today, as he'll save the engine for Wednesday night in the Leland 250 at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. But you can see the driver starting to unbuckle inside the GM Paille number 96. You can see Todd Lewis standing by in victory lane as well as he gets set to welcome him out of that car into victory lane. Todd? And it looks like we'll go to Todd here in just one quick second as Marc-Antoine Camirand continues to unbuckle from his car. His team at the window helping him out, and we'll get the victory lane ceremonies and most importantly, the big jump as they come out, and a big congratulations to Marc-Antoine Camirand, as he deserves this one. As you mentioned, class of the field throughout this entire distance, and really showed it at the end, but had to work for it because it almost went badly for him.
Absolutely. If that yellow did not come out, he was nowhere. He was a mid-pack finish. The 74 really got into him, and the 96 was he lost his cool there for a minute, but he composed himself and got it done.
Well, that's the thing is he lost his cool, and it nearly cost him at the end of that. Imagine if a couple more hits and something came through the radiator in that car, and then your day is done essentially. But yeah, it's all a what ifs, ands, or buts at this point, because he's the one who's celebrating in victory lane.
Audio. Good,
and now it looks like we do have Todd in victory lane. Todd?
All right, there's Marc-Antoine Camirand climbing out of that 96 car, waving the checkered flag. It's 3 out of 4 here now at Edmonton for Marc-Antoine Camirand with a smile on his face. The car shows the scars of 300 laps plus here at Edmonton. Yeah, I know. That's quite a battle that you had out there to score this victory.
Yeah, what a race. I mean, we never give up. We have some high time on qualified P9 out of 10, but car was feeling better than that. So during the race, I managed the race, get stuck on the outside a few times on a restart, but what a race for GM Payet, Chevrolet. I mean, so proud of the guys who work all race long, so good job. P1 for the GM Payet.
There's a little bit of work to do for the next couple of days before we get to Saskatoon. Couple of quick words for your fans en français.
Bon, premièrement, une belle course. On a eu de la misère à qualifier 9e sur 10. C'est pas la voiture qu'on est habitué de qualifier, donc on a pris notre temps. On avait une bonne voiture sur une longue séquence, donc un petit peu de brasse camarade avec le 74 à la fin. On était capable de ramener la voiture GM Payet en avant ce soir.
Merci. Marc-Antoine Camirand is your winner here in Edmonton.
Big smiles for Marc-Antoine Camirand, and he's going to take over the points lead with that win, most importantly, as well as DJ Kennington faded towards the tail end of that race. But as the crew starts their celebrations in victory lane, we'll take a quick break here from Edmonton International Raceway. Big congratulations to Marc-Antoine Camirand.
I'm glad you said that, because it looked like fun from where we were, and at times it looked frustrating, which is even more fun for us watching. How hard is it to keep your cool inside the car?
Air conditioning. No, what are you talking about? No, it was all good. You're talking about maybe, no, I think, mid-race, the car, I don't know why, maybe we bent the rear toe on the restart or something, because the car was fantastic, and then all of a sudden stopped working and was a little bit slower.
Okay.
So it was kind of annoying.
So we'll do.
It was a little bit long, but then with the yellows, I was excited again.
It was a good show. How about our race fans? Kevin Lacroix put on a great show, came home third. And now, race fans, the winner of the NAPA 300. Driver of the GM Payet, number 96, Marc-Antoine Camirand. You are all smiles now. That was not an easy race.
No, not at all. I mean, we battled all the race long. We struggled in qualifying, P9 out of 10.
And welcome back to what has been an exciting race number 3 of the 2025 NASCAR Canada Series here at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta, about 50 kilometers outside of Edmonton. I'm Dave Bradley. Joined with me is Gary Klutz. And Gary, we knew it was going to be a battle for this NAPA 300, and boy, did it ever deliver.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best races in my memory at this track. What a dynamite race. Great group of cars here, and great race for the fans.
Yeah, and there you take a look at the finishing order. Andrew Ranger coming home with a solid 4th place finish. DJ Kennington, as we mentioned, had led at the halfway mark. He faded back just a little bit in 5th. He was your points leader coming into this one.
Yeah, but he salvaged some good points. You know, the wheels can really fall off when your car's going backwards like that, but he did a bang-up job bringing it home P5.
And you know what? They'll do some work on that car, and they will bring it back strong once again at our next stop at Sutherland Automotive Speedway in Saskatoon. So we're looking forward to that. But you can see the big winner, Marc-Antoine Camirand, smiles in that picture. He was smiles on the podium as well. No doubt, just before that last caution came out after contact with the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, there were no smiles in that helmet.
No, absolutely. And, you know, he was hot under the collar. I don't think the crew chief or his spotter got on the radio and told him, hey, you're going to restart out front here. Save this car.
As the victory lane ceremonies continue, let's head down trackside once again and check in with Todd Lewis. Todd?
Please flag down one of our friendly staff members. We'll make sure that you guys get home safely.
Each who started on pole, you led early, you led in the second half of the race. You really showed the potential of this car.
Oh, yeah, the car was quick, you know, but at the end of first session and the second session, the car was so loose, couldn't get on the corner. So that's why when Camirand was behind me, I let him go, you know. I couldn't fight with him, so. But, we're going to take that second place after Riverside. You know, we struggled a lot up there, so that's almost a win for us. And the next time is Saskatoon. Saskatoon already won up there, so we're going to try to win.
That was a heck of a race. Go and collect your second place trophy right here. That's a nice piece of hardware for Donald Teege. In fact, I'm going to keep walking and grab Kevin Lacroix, who's the other podium finisher here. Another strong outing for you guys. You got to work for this one tonight.
Oh, yeah. The car was fantastic earlier, and then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, after a yellow flag on the restart, it became a little bit slower, lack of front grip, but yellow flag at the end, one more shot, I had to give it. So we're here to have fun, and I had fun today, so I'm happy.
Kevin Lacroix had fun, scores himself a podium finish. This is just the appetizer. We get to do it again in a few days, guys.
And what an appetizer it was. Guy like Kevin Lacroix, he loves the rough stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely going to have no apologies there for anyone.
Absolutely. You saw Kevin Lacroix get into the 96 of Marc-Antoine Camirand. Made a spicy finish here in Edmonton, one we expected. We don't expect as spicy a finish for the next event. Race number 4 will be in Saskatoon at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. That's a little bit more wide open, a little bit more sweeping corners. Takes a little bit different touch.
Yeah, great big racetrack, lots of speed there, lots of room to race. The second line works, the bottom line works, sometimes the third line works there. That'll be a good show.
And we shake up the points a little bit, too. There is going to be a change at the top of the point standings based on Marc-Antoine Camirand finishing top of the box, and then the 17 of DJ Kennington falling back inside the top 5. So not a dramatic change, but every point counts.
Yeah, he's going to have to go to work, and he's going to really, really need to work hard and get a good finish there if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive.
So for the crews on this western swing, what's their next step? You essentially find a hotel parking lot and you start to go to work on your car.
Certainly. We've worked on the cars in the hotel parking lots before, and if you've got a good relationship, you can find a good shop to work in.
But this crew, the work will come a little bit easier as they continue to celebrate their win here in the NAPA 300. Marc-Antoine Camirand coming out victorious here at Edmonton International Raceway. For Todd Lewis and Gary Klutz, I'm Dave Bradley. Thanks very much for watching. You've been watching the NASCAR Canada Series live on RevTV.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.